before I launch into this, that I will go through as quickly as possible. Working with Saskia and seeing the work that she did in the High Peaks was so inspiring and so impressive. Seen so many others try to bring folks together and work towards arts and culture as a common goal. It can be a challenge. Everybody's busy and everybody has so many priorities. It really can be hard to get people to really invest that energy and time, and I've just been so impressed with how Saskia has been able to do that, and so I'm thrilled to be working with her, and I'm thrilled to be working with all of you. So I know that we have you here for a long time tonight, and I promise you that this will be the only meeting that is this long.
It was working earlier, right?
Yeah, do you want to?
No, it just needs the receiving.
Oh, this. So, I know that we have you all here for a long time tonight. It's the only meeting that's going to be that long, and it does serve a purpose. There's a reason. It's not just because we like having you sit for long periods of time. This first portion of the meeting, we are going to do a presentation. As soon as that's over, it's going to be engaging and interactive, and we're going to be hearing from you guys. It's not just going to be sitting and listening. So we are going to go through just a little bit about the background, purpose, and the process in regards to cultural planning and how we're going to be engaging in that process in Lewiston-Auburn. From there, we're going to do a little bit of daydreaming about what folks envision for Lewiston-Auburn 5 years down the road in regards to arts and culture and their role in economic and community development. And we're going to do a SOAR analysis looking at strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and realities. Those aspirations are going to come from the visioning process that we do prior to that. From there, we'll break out into small groups based on what priorities you're most interested in or you feel like you have most to contribute to. And then we'll come back together, everybody will share all the great work that they did, and then we'll have a few minutes at the end for some independent reflection and hopefully for everybody to fill out a brief questionnaire. So, all over the country, community leaders are realizing and have realized the value of investing in arts and culture in their communities, and that it really creates a ripple effect, that an investment in a small local theater ends up having an impact on the surrounding businesses, and they're spreading out to the rest of the town and even sometimes the region, depending on the success of that theater. It brings vibrancy and it really breathes life into a community and helps to build a quality of place that is hard to define without those arts and cultural resources in a community. It also helps to bring divergent sectors within a community together and create some level of common ground and a shared understanding of what community means to each other. We all have our personal individual beliefs and values and preferences, and when you mesh those things together is when you find the culture of a community. And that's what we're going to be doing here in Lewiston-Auburn, is really trying to get to the heart of what that culture is and how Lewiston-Auburn defines itself. I like to think of cultural planning as a town planner, kind of in a similar light as comprehensive planning or land use planning, but it's a different perspective, and it's a similar process. You're coming up with strategies and goals, but it gives you a new lens to look at a community through, and it gives you new tools for economic and community development. And it really helps to tie those different sectors of planning and community development together, being your asset and strengths-based planning and your economic and community development, and then your place and quality of place and sense of place type planning. Merging of all of those things is the process of cultural planning. The list of benefits is extensive, and just to give a few, is looking at the increased engagement in arts and cultural activity, leveraging additional funds for future development, creating a blueprint for the future development of arts and culture within a community, and again, that ripple effect that just a small investment can have throughout the community. And Saskia is going to talk a little bit more about some great examples of that.
This is a great project that happened in Fort Collins, Colorado. The city had an empty historic building that they were looking for a use for, so they teamed up with a local arts nonprofit and Colorado State University and applied for an NEA grant to create an arts incubator that could support the development and education of the artistic community throughout the region. And it's really had a great effect on the creative economy as well. They've been able to leverage a lot of money for it, and they're successfully renting out gallery spaces for artists year-round. And this, our lens, or the color quality is a little bit poor on this, but there's a trend across the country right now in public art to use LED lighting within cities. And it's really fun because it gives people a reason to come out at night, meet, go out to eat, and something to do. And it's great on pedestrian bridges like this one. And this particular one, 75% of it was paid for by private donations, 25% by the city. And the operational cost is minimal because LED lights are so efficient that there's not a lot of long-term impact. It's just that initial installation.
Yeah, the lights move on the bridge, it's not static.
Yeah, they're programmed to come on at sunset. They go off at 1 a.m. and they have different patterns that they repeat through. And it reflects off the water, which is really pretty. So there's two essential methods of economic development. Lewiston-Auburn has done an amazing job over the past few decades at implementing traditional methods. And if we move forward with this plan and couple it with innovative methods like promotion of assets, public art, cultural planning, branding, incubators, it would really position Lewiston-Auburn to start attracting more of that creative workforce for us that we're looking for, especially as we look forward to the population decrease in the state of Maine as a whole over the next few decades. This is really important to be able to attract entrepreneurs, creative types, and they need that atmosphere of like a fun city to be in. And we have, I made this list because over the past month we've been reading through every single strategic organizational plan we could find, comprehensive plans, economic development plans, and every single one of them in the Lewiston-Auburn region that we found recognize arts and culture as an economic driver and adding to community building. And I'm bringing this up because we really don't want to repeat the work that's been done. We want to build on it. We want to connect all the initiatives together by keeping everyone connected on the steering committee and to build on what's already been built to make it stronger. And interestingly, support for the arts is growing, which is great news for all of us. The Maine State Arts Commission just completed a cultural plan this year, and it had a really strong, the backbone of it was a lot of data work. And because of this, they were able to go and leverage an additional $250,000 from state appropriations into their budget because of that data work, and that's what we want to base our plan on, is a very strong foundation of data. And I'm going to give the slides back to our data guru, Emily.
So in just starting to dig through all of the data and demographics available for Androscoggin County and Lewiston-Auburn, it looks like it's on a similar trend as the rest of the state with a declining population, although Androscoggin County as a whole is projected to see an increase in population, which is exciting. With that does come a challenge because more than half of that population is anticipated to be people ages 65 and over. So you're going to be facing the needs of an aging population over the coming 20 years, and with that comes a lot of additional services, potential housing needs and things along those lines, but also the need to find ways to engage that population and ensure that they have a high quality of life here in Lewiston-Auburn and are able to access the different services and opportunities that they want to be able to experience. On a positive note, there is projected to be a slight increase in youth ages 15 to 19 and young adults in the next 20 years. That is going to then maybe start to decline, but those numbers aren't set in stone. And if by identifying strategies for keeping some of those youth in this area, maybe we can keep that number growing as opposed to moving back down. arts, entertainment, and recreation in Lewiston-Auburn, and this industry sector is very large. It is not just arts-related businesses, but it is a measurement that you can use to kind of gauge the industry within an area. So 8% of the workforce in Lewiston-Auburn, arts, entertainment, and recreation account for 8% of the workforce in Lewiston-Auburn, and there's been a significant growth in that sector over the past 10 years and all over the state of Maine. Americans for the Arts provides assessments and county profiles looking at arts-related businesses. These are businesses dealing directly with the arts. This is a fairly rough number, and it's based largely on the businesses that sign up with American for the Arts and other listing directory type services. But based on their calculations, Androscoggin County is home to 171 arts-related businesses, providing 885 jobs. That's a huge, huge number.